Can I slip under your blanket? Her voice was low, barely audible over the crackle of the fire. She was shivering, her silk camisole clinging to damp skin as the winter storm howled just outside the cabin. Army Captain Jack Weller turned to her, his expression unreadable, heart pounding beneath his uniform. It wasn't the question that stunned him. It was who was asking. Harper Quinn, the high-powered CEO who'd once called him too rigid, now looked at him like he was the only safe thing left in the world. Just 24 hours earlier, they were strangers. Well, almost. They'd crossed paths at a veterans fundraiser where Jack was speaking and Harper was donating. Sparks flew, but it was friction, not flirtation. She was sharp, fast-talking, high-heeled and impatient. He was measured, mission-focused, and unimpressed. Their conversation lasted 5 minutes before she'd written him off as another disciplined dullard. But fate had other plans. That morning, their private charter plane made an emergency landing in the Colorado mountains due to engine trouble. The pilot was evacuated by medics, but with the storm closing in, Harper and Jack were stranded until rescue could return. One satellite call, one chance to say, "You'll need to shelter in place." And now, this. The cabin was barely holding up. Wood creaked with every gust. Frost rimmed the window panes. Inside, they had only a small fire, emergency blankets, and whatever was in their go-bags. Jack had offered her the bed first, insisting he'd stay by the fire. But when her teeth started to chatter despite the layers, she had whispered it, "Can I slip under your blanket?" Jack didn't answer right away, not because he doubted her intent, but because he felt the shift. The CEO mask was gone, the bravado melted. In its place was a woman, cold, scared and human. He nodded, lifting the edge of the blanket wordlessly. She slid in beside him, careful, still unsure of the rules. The silence was thick. Then she whispered, "I've closed billion-dollar deals, spoken to world leaders, but I've never been this close to someone who makes me feel calm." Jack exhaled slowly. "That's the job, stay calm so others don't have to." She looked at him. "No, Jack, that's you, not the job." He turned slightly toward her, catching her eyes in the firelight, and for the first time, Harper looked seen. Not for her company, not for her power, not for her name. Just for her. She smiled faintly. "You probably think I'm ridiculous. Coming on this trip in heels, yelling at the pilot when we landed. I wasn't built for survival situations." Jack shook his head gently. "You walked through snow in stilettos and carried your own bag up the mountain. You didn't crack. You adapted. That's survival." She blinked, then whispered, "My father was a soldier. That's probably why I clash with men like you. I hated how he was always gone. But now, I understand it better." He said nothing, just listened, which to her meant everything. The storm outside screamed louder, but inside the warmth grew, not from the fire, but from something unspoken. She leaned her head on his shoulder, and after a moment he let his rest against hers. Then came a voice, soft, vulnerable. "Do you ever feel lonely, Captain?" He answered honestly. "Only when I'm around people who don't know how to be real." She turned to him slowly. "And what about now?" Jack looked her dead in the eye. Not even a little. They stayed like that, hearts beating in quiet rhythm. Layers of status, ego, and identity melting away with every second. In that cabin, they weren't a soldier and a CEO. They were just two people, stranded in a storm, finding warmth in each other's honesty. By morning, the storm cleared. The rescue team arrived. The helicopter rotors churned up snow as they stepped out into the clearing. Jack helped Harper aboard, but before she climbed in, she grabbed his sleeve. "Jack, when this is over, can I call you? Not for business. Just for something real." He gave her a small smile. "I'll be waiting." Weeks later, back in the city, Jack got a call from an unknown number. It was her. No assistants, no agenda, just Harper. And their second meeting wasn't at a gala or conference room. It was at a quiet bench in the park. 2 coffees, no cameras, just the same 2 people from that cabin. Sometimes the strongest connections are forged not in comfort, but in crisis. Behind every title, every uniform, every wall, is someone waiting to be seen. And when you strip it all away, What's left isn't power or position. It's truth. And truth, when shared in the cold, burns warmer than any fire. Every story connects us, but it's your comment that keeps it alive. Tell us where you're watching from and how this story touched your heart. Don't just scroll, be part of this family by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Together we spread hope.